obtained from their smart cars as well as GPS location data of the vehicles like buses or trams. And the company, actually the company used Apache Beam pipeline, and they converted the pipeline to Apache Spark pipeline. So you can also see the figures, and these figures show the public transport density analysis of one of the biggest city in Turkey, which is Konya, in the morning. So the first figure shows the origin density, so the starting point of the commuters, of the commuters, and the second figure shows the ending point, the destination point of the commuters. And you can also analyze in the third figure. You can also analyze. You can also select one region and analyze the trip starting from this region. So about the business benefits, with this POC study, Parabol has successfully used the HPC environment for the first time at Truba HPC Center. So these simulations take hours in their production servers, in the company's servers. But in HPC, these simulations take a few minutes, so they have time benefits. And the company understands the urban public transport mobility patterns much better. And finally, I would like to mention briefly about our white paper by NCC Turkey, which is development of a maturity assessment tool to improve SME HPC capabilities. In this white paper, we try to share our industrial collaboration experiences, as well as we try to understand the SME's current situation and assess their HPC levels and identify their gaps and recommend some reasonable improvements. So you can reach this white paper on Zenodo from this link. Okay, so I think that's all from my side. Thank you for listening. Thank you
very much, Özlem. So we do have a little time for questions, and we also have microphones prepared, so in case you want to ask something, Jessica can jump to you and give you the mic. Okay. I don't see any hands raised, so... Oh yeah, there is one in the back.
Hi, Özlem. It's a very simple question, I promise. So you said that you had like an expert pool?
Yes.
So how's the process of... you have like a list of experts, and then when you contact a company, depending on the topic, you contact the experts? Or?
Yes. So the company needs, for example, if the company works in the CFD field, we have affiliated entities. So this next national expert pool consists of these experts, academic and HPC experts. For example, if the company needs an CFT expert, then we have, for example, three experts working in the field of CFD. Then we assigned one of them for the specific POC study. But it's like an internal document for us.
Yeah, so they work, for example, at TÜBİTAK, and then they are there for questioning, or the experts, I mean. Right. They work at TÜBİTAK, at your institution, and
they also work in our affiliated entities, Middle East Technical University, Sabancı University, and İTÜ.
Okay.
Do we have any further questions? Yes, there is one.
Yes, a very practical question on the case of the public transport. Do you have any figures on that one? And how did you where did you get the data from? So how did you know that people moving from A to B, tickets or?
They get it from the passengers' smart data and also GPS location. So the yes, it's like I think they investigate 300,000 passengers. So it's like a very big data, I guess. The question is.
Okay, I don't see any more questions at the moment. So thank you again, Özlem. And I would like to invite our two next speakers. It's just one speaker, okay. So I have listed Pekka Usitalo and Juhani Huttunen. Okay, so welcome. And just one sentence of explanation, Jessica. Exactly, so you know how to click, and Jessica will show you nice signs saying 5 minutes, 1 minute, and stop, so that you know that you're keeping the time.
Thank you very much. So, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to be here to represent National Competence Center Finland. My name is Juhani Huttunen, and I'm working as a Customer Solution Manager in CSC IT Center for Science in Finland in a business unit called Industry Engagement and Partnership Management. I have prepared this presentation together with my colleague Pekka Uusitalo, who was mentioned there. Let's see how this works. My presentation is about industrial successes with EuroHPC Lumi in Finland and way forward. So during the next 10 minutes, I will give an overview of the opportunities that the EuroHPC Lumi high-performance supercomputing ecosystem will enable to commercial companies in Finland, in particular, focusing there. I will present some major user paths or models, how to become a supercomputing user as a commercial company. Also present 2 success cases, how this has greatly benefited companies and also in a large scale maybe Finnish society as well. And then I will share also an outlook of some future insights. Let's see whether this works. And as a reminder how we are organized, so NCC Finland or EuroCC Finland is Finnish Competence Center for Supercomputing and fully hosted by CSC IT Center for Science. So this EuroHPC Lumi, it's a pre-exascale supercomputer. It's in the heart of the story as the enabler of the ecosystem for competitiveness and innovation in Finland. And the machine is located in a data center in Kajaani and hosted by CSC. And Lumi's enormous HPC computing capabilities, data storage capacity, also complemented with advanced artificial intelligence and data analytic tools, will be the key for solving scientific challenges, but also now bringing competitive advantage to companies when taken in proper use. And you may wonder these badges there. So this Lumi and Data Center has received several awards for sustainability, design, and also computing performance during the last few years. Next, I'm jumping to various models that we have available for companies available in Finland. So the first one is about public-private, which means that there is a collaboration between Finnish research organizations, which means universities, universities, applied sciences, and state-owned resource organizations who work together with companies. And if the usage is open, results are published, in that case, the usage can be free of charge. But if not, then there will be charge according to the market price. And we have currently quite a few of these cases. All of them are actually this kind of an open type, but we wish them to be increased. The second example I'm showing in the following slide is of this kind of public-private. Pay-per-use model here, a company makes a contract with CSC and pays the market price that has been defined. And we have figured out that this is actually quite a unique option for Lumi users. So quite few Lumi countries yet have defined this type of model. However, this has been very successful and inviting many companies to get interested in supercomputing, and not least because we have such kind of model that we have a testing project first, we call it try and buy, where they get some computing resources for a limited time, but also HPC expertise support so that they get onboarded and test really that their software and applications are working properly before they are committed to this kind of contractual phase. And we have handful ongoing commercial contracted cases, but we have a lot of this try and buy testing ongoing and increasing all the time. The third option is public funding, more specifically Business Finland, which is this kind of a state-owned funding agency. They provide computing grants up to 100,000 euros for SMEs and startups, against which they can get computing resources through CSC, Lumi, and the capacity valued at this market price. And we have plenty of these projects running in Lumi, but this model has also been used in our national computing machines like Mahtipuhti, if you have heard about those. And this model has been very highly deployed by AI SMEs and startups. Next, having just two examples of use cases. The first one is about this pay-per-use case, and this is the first commercial Lumi case. There's a fire safety simulations by Rumble Finland, Rumble is a global engineering and consulting company, and they provide here fire technical simulations of buildings to authorities. And for their customers, time is usually the most critical factor, and they have been struggling that the simulations, what they need to produce, take like several days or a week. And what was the solution? They figured out this opportunity of supercomputing. They came to us. They had this test project to test that their tools and code is working properly. And now they have been happy customers for us for 1.5 years. And the main benefit has really been that the results are now finalized in hours rather than days or a week. And one more point is that they say that Lumi environment is very flexible, so that their simulation model, when they assemble that for a certain purpose, the model can be optimized or finalized with the needs of this model rather than the machine it's run on. So this was a surprise that this extra kind of benefit was appearing in this exercise. And for society, time is significantly shortened for fire safety approvals from authorities. The second example is about this very hot topic, open large language models, those which is foundation for ChatGPTs of the world. And here in particular, we talk about this kind of a generative pre-trained transformer 3, FinGPT-3 language model, open access, which is the largest Finnish model and uses 13 billion parameters and is based entirely on Finnish language. And here the Turku NLP, which is a natural language processing group in University of Turku, they cut computing power from Lumi, and it appeared that it accelerated the creation of language model enormously. And why this is public-private case, it's because this University of Turku group has collaborated here with Silo AI, which is the largest private AI lab delivering AI-driven solutions and products. And this Turku group and Silo AI are continuing the work now with open multilingual large language models and using Lumi as their main resource to do this modeling. And because these kind of massive language models lay foundation for next generation AI applications in general, it's vital that to enable development of this kind of open models also for smaller languages to democratize access to LLMs. And it has been also said that these kind of initiatives aim to somehow ensure Europe's digital sovereignty. So very important activities indeed. And last, some insights of future. So what has been the key success factors so far? The variety of usage models to choose from, especially Business Finland grants and pay-per-use have paid or counted for the most interest. Expert support that we can offer help onboarding to HPC world, and here especially the EuroCC funding has been very essential to enable this. High supply or enormous supply of computing resources for industry purposes, it has been really something new in Finland context, not possible earlier. And while we have been investing in this awareness creation, it really starts to pay off now, and we have to focus now more on industry-specific domains rather than giving the generic message of that. And as the last point, areas to focus further, scale up the expert support, and we have to develop also the computing environment to convince more companies that it's possible to do your business critical or sensitive data operations also in this kind of HPC environment. So some companies are quite suspicious about that, but we have to improve the system as well, equally here. And we have to increase this public-private project, not least because Finnish government have this kind of innovation initiatives, and they really want to see the impact of their investments in full when having this kind of public-private type of projects. And well, we have a certain gap in Finland at the moment, and we are investing more on that. So we have not enough capabilities to support companies at the moment to take benefit of these EuroHPC funding calls for companies, and that's something to pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have questions? Yes, we do have one.
Hello, Bastian from Altea. I was curious how the market price works for private companies. Is that like a spot price that changes during per day or per week or per month? Or?
No, it has been really defined based on the cost basis, like CSC and how we operate in Finland, and which has been agreed with our government or ministries. Is that okay? We look at our cost structure in Lumi in this case, and then we have a certain a small premium there to make certain sense so that we can afford that. So it has been quite stable now for 1.5 years. So let's see when it changes, but it's definitely not spot price or changing all the time.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have more questions? Does not seem to be the case, so let me thank you again for giving the presentation.
Thank you.
And I would invite back Bastian Koller. So as you've heard, actually the last two presentations were presentations from the National Competence Centers in HPC, one from the National Competence Center in Turkey, and this one now from Finland. And now Bastian Koller is going to say a little bit more about the EuroCC project, where both of those national competence centers are actually located and are operating at.
Okay, so I'm back, and I think my heart rate is now only half of this because we are online now. So also welcome to the people in the stream. We saw now it's filling with life, which is good. As we already heard some success stories, I think there was now a success story of at least 3 NCCs with 5 different nationalities fighting for this live stream. So we worked it out, competences were there. So I'm happy that we can continue now, let's say, also with the extended audience. So you've heard, let's say, 2 success stories about national competence centers. I said something about national competence centers, so we thought it might be a good idea also to give you some more information what these national competence centers are. So I will just invite you quickly to have a look, let's say, with me on where we are, what is the EuroCC action about, what can you do with it, how can, let's say, you access information or access people there, and then simply guide you through this a bit. Things work. People who know me know that it's sometimes a bit, let's say, I'm over-exceeding thing, but let's say if you would have asked people some 3.5 years and several global events earlier, so we had a pandemic, we have wars, we have everything like this, time was quite good, but when you had discussions, yes, people knew, okay, there are many different activities in HPC. Then there was question, is it only HPC, is this HPDA, AI, somehow all of them. What is going on national level, international level? Yes, things are ongoing there. All of them are somehow ongoing on national level. And there was a question, where can I get more information or contacts with competences which can help me? And ideally, let's say the person who was asked knew some of the things because they were either in direct contact, there were some competence owners, or let's say they had some information about things ongoing. And there was, let's say, this big jigsaw where you see a lot of pieces there, and obviously you need to find a certain piece in this, which was quite cumbersome. So one of the ideas was really to think about, let's say, how to overcome this and how to really utilize the maximum the pool of competences that we have. And we have a lot of competences in Europe, and we have a lot of competences in the different nations. Obviously, everybody just saw a part of the picture. So when there were discussions about this, there was a question, okay, what had to happen? And this was the simple view on this, and I think people have seen this picture several times ago, but I simply like to show it again because it shows the simple view on the whole thing. Yes, you build something, you build a supercomputer, you build, let's say, a center, and then obviously people will come. Somehow they will find out what's there, somehow they will find out what is there. That would be the easy part. And to be honest, then we would have had much less work over the last years and would have, let's say, much less work the next years. Reality shows what you really had to do is somehow to create a structure to identify these competences. Who are the competence owner in my nation, and who are the competence owners in Europe? So, being realistically, so always has, let's say, a technological or let's say a content aspect. This also has somehow a competitiveness aspect. So obviously, this needs a mental change somehow, because in many cases, yes, you want to be the owner of the competence and the only owner because you want to have a customer. So one thing is, or one point behind that was really to think about also how to break up this kind of thinking by really working together, let's say, in this frame of national competence centers, and by also to see maybe there's some benefit really in this cooperation there. And this is something which we started to discuss in this EuroCC action, and even before when we, let's say, thought about how this initiative might look like. And the main idea was really, let's say, how to identify the competences and how to establish this kind of pools, national competence pools, and taking into account different levels of maturity. So in an ideal world, every country, every nation in Europe would have the same level of competences or maturity level. And also here is an aspect which should not be neglected. It's not an issue if you are not that mature as you are, let's say, probably in another country. Because there are many factors which were bringing the countries to a certain extent to the level where they are now. Heavy investments, strategies, let's say, by the government down to centers, or let's say to a bunch of centers. But the question is, let's say, does everyone in Europe just go its own strategy? Just saying national strategy only, not looking left or right? Or can we somehow pull these competences also to enhance this kind of network of the different nations? So, yes, we had to take into account different levels of maturity, which means also this can be a big benefit in terms when you come together, higher mature centers, lower mature centers, and they can exchange. The idea was obviously, if, let's say, you don't have an expertise in a certain area, but if you want to explore something, let's go for AI, the early stages, or quantum, yes, obviously, you can put in a lot of money building up the whole expertise knowledge yourself. Or maybe you interact with somebody where you know, okay, this other country, they have a certain activity there. Maybe I interact with these people. Or trainings. Yes, we have a machine, so what do we do with the machine? Yes, there are specialized trainings, but not everybody has the same training implemented in the same level in each country. So if I want to implement a training, maybe I have somebody who is currently offering this training on behalf, so I can implement my training in parallel, but can also already go to my users and provide them access to the training offered by the other ones for a time. So ideally, and this is the main ambition behind this, is really to strengthen this European level of skills, qualifications, and competences, where the nations keep their own strategy. This is fine, and they are autonomous, but still work in this network of competences, and by that, let's say, provide a much better level for access by end users, and much better, let's say, support level to end users than it was before when they were all, let's say, fighting on themselves. So, national competence centers, nice word, but what's behind that? So the idea was that this kind of pool of national competences, let's say, is brought together in a single point of contact for these HPC and associated technologies. It's user-oriented, very important. Services and material should be user-oriented. There should be a demand for this. There's often the tendency, let's say, in the academic world to do some things which there's probably no demand yet, but it's cool and nice. But we have to have a look there. And this was really something focused on user-oriented services. And this is a continuously evolving entity. And the enrichment of competences comes by the interaction with other competence centers or new competence owners in the nation. People show up. If you would compare Germany now, overview of competences, to 2 years ago, you have several new players. Okay, some players have disappeared, new areas, new fields, so you cannot stand still. You just have to continue enriching this competence pool and really to incorporate their knowledge and expertise and then work together on the whole bit. So EuroCC Phase 1 started in September 2020. Obviously, this was a challenge, bringing together here 33 nations, online mainly, because we started in the middle of the corona pandemic, which was not very helpful at this time, because the face-to-face interaction is very important in that, especially to establish a level of trust between each other. As I said, there are national strategies. Everybody is looking still for his surrounding, not to lose completely in, let's say, its competences, or let's say being seen as a competence owner. So we had let's say, on one hand, obviously an impacted start, but the consortium was very well chosen that we could start and really reach already a certain level until we were able to meet in person at a certain point in time. And I can just say this first person-to-person meeting was very, very exciting, and we had a really boost then of the work and the collaborations, because this face-to-face interaction is mandatory for a work like this. So you see the 33 nations. The project is funded by the HPC joint undertaking and the member states, like 50-50 funding. And this focus of the Phase 1 was really to initially set up the structures of the NCCs. And the user groups are industry, public administration, and academia.
Ranging from the areas of health and food security to energy and the environment, we are facing more and more societal but also technological challenges. High-performance computing, or HPC, in combination with HPDA and AI, provides the means to tackle not only these large, complex problems, but also to widen further use and uptake of iterative modeling and simulation technologies in academia, public administration, and industry by processing massive data and performing complex calculations at high speed. But what is the value of such a toolset without the competence to utilize it best? Thus, the European High-Performance Computing Joint Undertaking addresses this field by implementing the EuroCC project as part of their funding activities. Within the EuroCC project, National Competence Centres, or NCCs, are created over a period of 2 years in 33 participating countries. These NCCs are intended to serve as a single point of contact in each European country, bringing together the national stakeholders and thus boosting the use of HPC and associated technologies. To maximally utilize synergies between all participating countries and national competence centres, the coordination and support action, CASTIEL, is in place and active on a cross-national European level. By providing access to the excellent toolsets and enhancing European competitiveness as a whole, we can better face the challenges of our time. Visit us at www.eurocc-access.eu.
So this was the image movie from the first project. So those people which don't have their flag raised yet, don't kill me, please. We are currently updating this. The issue here is what you've seen. This was the starting point. First of all, giving a first insight. There will be something. There is something set up. There are access points everywhere. We will connect them. So what we did during the time is something we worked also on success stories here, which is very important to make people understand what's going on here. And you have seen already 2 success stories. There's a plethora of those. We have a nice booklet of this, and I think it should be, it's at the front desk, and we have some examples here if you want. The important part is not to do something and not to tell people about this. The important part is really to spread the message here. Also then to attract new customers, or let's say new users which want to interact here. So this is a starting point which mainly covers success stories from the first phase of the project. We will continuously update this, and feel free to take one of the the documents and read a lot yourself. So EuroCC 2, this is the project we are currently in. This is a natural follow-on of the EuroCC 1. It started on 1st of January this year. Runtime will be 3 years again. And now we are, let's say, setting on a much more profound base because we have set up the initial structures. We have the NCCs working already, let's say, with the NCC thinking. And the only challenge we had, let's say, were some political challenges because we lost 2 national competence centers, namely Switzerland and UK, because of the association issues. But we got 1 new, which is Serbia. So yes, it was not full replacement, but we still continue also to interact and discuss with the other ones, even, let's say, not in the frame of the project. But UK and Switzerland have set up something which they didn't want simply to stop afterwards. And obviously, we have to see how to deal with this in future. The main focus here is obviously on the further maturation of services, knowledge building, and interaction in networks. And if you look at this map now, you see, let's say, these, is this working here? These countries with this special country. If you have those countries, but Koller, you don't get funding currently from the JU. These countries are an association process, but I'm happy that we have these countries because they show that there's an interest in continuing this work here. And I have to say really thank you also to these countries that they still continue working, even, let's say, if the one part of the funding is really unclear. So from my side, thank you for this. And you see also that it's something where they did not, let's say, use the possibility to sneak out. I'm free, can run away. But really that we can continue working here, something on the even, let's say, post-administrative level in Europe. Nonetheless, we still have hope that at a certain point in time they will join us as full members again, and then we will see. So, when you've seen this video, you've seen the link to the EuroCC Access webpage. This was for us the hub we implemented for now to really have access to information about the NCCs. And not only NCCs, really to, let's say, have like an information portal about training courses which are ongoing on a European level, events. We provide here contents, etc. And I will guide you quickly through some of these aspects here. We are happy if you explore the pages yourself because you will find much more things than I can show you, let's say, within some minutes. So this is the link, quite easy to get. So what you get, first of all, obviously you can meet the NCCs, and this is a very good resolution, so it's very well hidden. On the website you see it much clearer. You will see here examples of NCC Austria, for instance, Belgium, Cyprus, Estonia. So you can just click on there and then you get, let's say, either linked to their webpage or to some more information there. Again, it's an entry point just to point you to your single point in your country. Then we have a competence map. Here we can select, or let's say somebody interested can have a look, let's say, what he or she is interested in, and they can look like even from their angle. So user-centric, what is my experience level? Yeah. If I'm the HPC expert, then I need probably other services than if I'm a complete newbie, or yes, I've heard about HPC, but I don't really have that much information. And then you look for the competences, what you really want to do here. And by this is a selection thing. This is work ongoing as the competences grow. Let's say this kind of map grows here as well. And should just give, let's say, also some first ideas, especially then when you probably don't have the competence that you're looking for in your country. So on one hand, you can go to your competence center and say, hey, I was looking for this. Do you really not offer, or don't you have anything for me here? But still, they can then also, let's say, look who else can help them, and then they can just do some joint collaboration here. We have, let's say, an overview of different documents here, white papers, different guides. How for instance, one thing is access for industry to EuroHPC, JU systems. So general information really to also support the EuroHPC ecosystem. Then we have, let's say, some material document library, some funding information. So we will not get funding you will not get funding from us, but we can show you what kind of funding mechanisms are there currently, which programs, etc., and then hand over, which is very good. And a video library, not about nice YouTube videos. Yes, there were some nice YouTube videos, but mainly YouTube videos of, let's say, sessions like this one, information sessions, or let's say tutorials, hands-on sessions, given not only by the NCCs, but also by technology partners, providers of let's say, GPUs, providers of processors, for the people which really want to dive deep into that, or general potential. So also here, feel free to have a look at this. I think it's worth it. Some here, again, video. We have a workshop on HPC certification. If you're interested in this topic, just go here. You get first information, you get the contacts, and then you get more. We have had an FPGA workshop, different programming workshops. So there's a plethora of things, again, on different levels of let's say, what you're looking for. Then we'll keep you updated, that's clear, very important. Join us at the HPC Industry Summit in Berlin. Probably a bit late to advertise this here because you're already here. But in general, we try also to be here most actual and show what's possible. But not only this, but also to show, let's say, what are the NCCs doing, what are new trends, what are new things which are happening, or which workshops have happened. So again, here a plethora of things. General from me, and this is, let's say, one of the statements I wanted to give you on the way, is it's a constantly growing universe. As I said, we don't have a break point to say, okay, now we have all the competences and we can work for the 10 next year on base of this, but it's depending on the feedback we get from the user groups, from industry, academic, and public administration. So as this is the industry summit, obviously we focus here on industry. So if you, let's say, are brave enough to look at this webpage and probably have an idea what you want to do, then check if you, let's say, have a competence center next to you where you could interact with, and also show them what's your interest. Because, let's say, it's a twofold side. On one thing, services are built up with the knowledge what we have, what our users want, but sometimes it's hard to assess what a user really wants in some certain level, so we also do, let's say, then some validation. But the more the users demand or challenge also the competence centers, the better, let's say, the evolution is, because then we really capture all the needs we have. So get in touch with your local NCC, ask them for support and training, or access to the EuroHPC machines, or access to knowledge and expertise, how they can best way utilize HPC, and whatever you think of. Try to be reasonable, but yes, don't ask them if they buy you a Ferrari, this won't work. I can tell you already now. But really, let's say in this place, feel free to ask and feel free to find out what's possible. And this is the most, let's say, this was the shortcut on this. I will be around if you have questions. The NCCs will be around if you have questions. Thank you for your attention. We're looking forward for many interactions today. And I'm really more relaxed than in the first session, to be honest now. So, thank you very much, and enjoy the day.
Okay, welcome back from the coffee break. I hope you enjoyed the networking and are well caffeinated for the next 2 sessions. So I would like to welcome you all to the upcoming session, which is success stories from the EuroCC 2 project. And our first speaker is Karim Azoum from the National Competence Center in France.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. I'm Karim Azoum from the French NCC. I'm going to present you the 6 success stories of SMEs supported by the NCC France in finance, healthcare, environment, and engineering. First, who we are. The French NCC is led by Teratech with INRIA, Crion, Romeo, and Surfax. All the partners have expertise in HPC, HPDA, AI, and simulation, and of course, in quantum computing. And what is really interesting is that to support SMEs, academic and public administration, we make a collaboration with the Mesonet project, which involved 21 Meso centers in all regions of France. These Meso centers are most of all academics. And of course, these 21 mesocenters have HPC infrastructure, specialized architecture, storage, support staff, and also software and training. To support industry, academic, and public administration, we created a tailored program, and this during this tailored program, we realize the diagnostic with experts to identify the needs of the industry, academic, or public administration, and of course, we propose the most adapted mesocenter to realize some proof of concept to become a success stories. Sometimes, industry, academic, and public administration don't want to be involved in the tailored program, so they use the French marketplace we developed to find some other solution. And here you have the big picture of our process of our tailored program support, and how you can see it can take more than 12 months to resolve proof of concept, of course, depending of the problematic of the proof of concept. Sometimes it can be more short. Now I'm going to present the 6 French success stories we have. Orae and Advestis in finance, Risk Weather Prologue in environment, Brintel in healthcare, and Seva in engineering. So for the name of the POC of Orae was Decision Support Tool Combining AI and Behavioral Finance. During this POC, we realized the deployment of models on HPC architecture and getting started with the HPC environment, and the benefits was significantly improve the calculation time of its AI tool and robustness of models, and also autonomy in the use of supercomputer. And first step to integrate AI into their investment process. So for the second one, for the company Advestis, the proof of concept was data science and machine learning development of prediction and investment rules. During this POC, we realized optimization, parallelization, and porting of an AI algorithm to HPC architecture. For the benefits, there was a significantly improved of the calculation time of the AI algorithm. They also reduce the computing cost, and they improve the prediction quality. So for both company in finance, the focus of the POC was how to put an AI algorithm into an HPC environment. For the company Risk Weather Tech, the name of the POC was Prediction of Damage to Infrastructure Caused by Storm. During this POC, they build a database of climate events, and they also make accurate mapping of claim risks. For the benefits, they realize 10,000 probable and realistic storm simulations that could take place in France, and the most important is that they create their own catalog of 10,000 storm. For the second SMEs in the sector of environment, the POC was opening of bathing seats in natural environment numerical simulation for decision making. In fact, can you take a bath or not in natural seats? This is the way of this POC. During this POC, they realized 3D hydrodynamic simulation of a section of the Marne in France with consideration of pollution sources. They also deploy on the modeling simulation on HPC architecture. And for the benefit, of course, they have some speed of calculation time and a fine representation of the pollution dispersion of buffing. So for the both company in environment sector, the goal of the POC was to use a software in a HPC environment. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to pass for the Braintail company. The Braintail company is a company in the sector of the healthcare. The POC, the name of the POC was AI Medical Device Software to Quantify Brain Damage and Clinical Prognosis. So during this POC, they realized intensive processing of large volume of data, and they use a lot of computing resources for efficient data analysis of 500 patients. So the benefit was the optimization of the retrospective analysis of large research cohort. But the most important thing was to develop and prepare the portfolio of product and digital medical device. So for this company, the goal of the POC was to use an AI algorithm into an HPC environment also. And don't forget to pass the slide. For the last one, it's the most classical use case you can find in HPC because it's like an engineering proof of concept. So the name of the POC was Multi-Scale and Multi-Physics Simulation of a Dam on a HPC architecture. During this POC, this company solved complex problems with scale ranging from centimeter to several tens of meters, taking into account loads, multi-physics, the temperature, the pressure, the forces, and they, of course, deploy this simulation into an HPC environment, and the benefits was to solve some client project with a significant productive gain, and HPC, and they also win some HPC expertise. So for this proof of concept, the goal was just to use some software, engineering software into an HPC environment, and it was, of course, a success for this company. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Karim. Do we have questions in the audience? Okay, not at the moment, so I think we'll have some time later on to catch up on that. And I would like to invite our second speaker for this session, who is Eric Pascolo from Cineca, from the National Competence Center in Italy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eric Pascolo from EuroCC, Italy. In Italy, we have an industrial panorama composed by a very large number of small enterprises, many medium and few large enterprises. As the result, the adoption of HPC technology is very limited. Today, I don't talk you about POC realized in EuroCC Italy, but I want to talk about a path which start as Cineca but continue with EuroCC Italy, a path we had undertaken with a small medium enterprise, Axion, and this path take a startup and transform it in a high-performance industry. In my presentation, I try to answer to this question. The first, how to transform an industry, especially SMEs, into high-performance industry. So, working with a company is not an easy job. They often see supercomputing as a risk or a technology very linked to science, not to business. Fortunately, we have European tools such as open call, cascade founding call. In example, with EuroCC Italy, we did open call, Fortissimo 4 did cascade founding call that allow an easy interaction with SMEs because the test before investment reduce the risk. The second question is what are the ingredients to turn an idea into success stories? Companies often come to us with a need, with a problem, but don't have a clear idea of how to transform it in a solution. What answer they ask to a simulation, an AI algorithm. We must support them to understand the problem, breaking it in a sub-problem, identify the most bottleneck, and in the end, digitalize it and find a solution. Axion is a fintech company born in 2017, and when we met it, there are in 4 people, and its AI algorithm runs on laptop and on office workstation. The company is fintech and produce forecasting, investment strategies, and predictive performance for financial asset management using deep learning. Axion understood that to scale their application and their business needs computational power. So, applied to shape Koller. This is the path that Axion has benefit. So, with 4 European projects, evolve its technology platform from workstation, in the first project using workstation, to supercomputer. And in the last, also, there are a lot of work to replace its algorithm with a compute-intensive algorithm, but more accurate. In the third project, it's an application of with its technology in a use case of Leonardo. Leonardo is a defense Italian company. We ask to Axion calculate the ROI of the project. And it's shown in this slide. The ROI, we start from 114 and increase to 118. It's a very good result for a startup. In the third project, the ROI is not estimated because it's a collaboration. Now, we show the project. In the first project, Shape, was fundamental for two reasons. The first is the technological improvement. We realize a DB-centric infrastructure that is shown up in a picture, easy deployable, only based on the Python and containers, that permit Axion to use remote resources from HPC center or cloud provider. The second reason is the people from Axion understand better how it works in European project and how it's the benefit the company can get. The project during 1 year, because Axion was a startup with 4 people and continues switching to production and innovation. And in the first 4 months, there are a lot training session to improvement the skill of company people. At the end of the first project, we have a platform can manage multiple jobs on remote resourcing, but only job runs with GPUs. So in the second project, we focused about parallelizing the training of AI model with Horovod framework, and we obtain a very good speed up, 3.5 on 4 GPUs. We did also a robustness test using Marconi, our supercomputer, and we run on 200 GPUs for 6 hour job with a different workload. Okay. The third project is focusing to introduce a new algorithm, because now Axion can use a very high computational power. We introduce 3 new algorithms. They are continuous learning methods for training their network. In the first picture on the left, you can see the comparison of 4 continuous learning methods. Generative model for portfolio risk estimation. In the image below, you can see the comparison of real data and the free methods, and one is the generative model GAN. And with the result, the robustness test, we find 2 bottlenecks in the platform management and in API, and we solve in this project. So in this picture, you show that we manage a lot of instances. Okay. In conclusion, computing power is necessary, but is not sufficient. It's also necessary to have skill to understand the problem and address it in a correct way, in order to provide a solution that is not the final solution at the end of the project, but is the starting point for the next project. Innovation should be driven by the needs of the company. If the company does not solve its problem with HPC, it will not put in the necessary effort to achieve the goal. The Axion use case was very helpful for us in understanding how to improve our support for companies that want to use HPC. technology transfer means also upskilling of company people. In this way, people can be autonomous in their work, in the bug fixing, and can also bring new ideas and projects. Support is not related only to technology. Support is also linking to the process. It is necessary guide the company in the project, prioritize their need, understanding the best mode of interaction, and the end come technology. Working side by side, it's necessary to understand the company internal process and this allows to maximize the scope of the project and understanding each other's priority. What do I mean? We are innovators, we like to experiment, but industry need to produce, to make a profit to survive. We need to try understand and respect the other goal, deadline, and prioritize to work together for innovator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Okay, I don't see anyone. So I guess we can continue with our next speaker, who is Tomáš Karasek from the NCC Czechia.
Thank you, Natalie, for introduction. I'm Tomáš Karasek from NCC Czechia, and before I will go to share with you several proof of concept or several interactions with the industry, I will just outline something about NCC Czechia. So we are basically part of the IT for Innovations National Supercomputing Center at the Technical University of Ostrava. And it gives us several advantages. The first one is that we could leverage on 12 years of experience of the IT for Innovations. Through many of the projects, we know each other for many years, praise, etc., etc. The second advantage is we have the pool of experts which we can use for the interaction with the stakeholders, and as you will see, it's not only for the SMEs or large companies, but also for the public administration. One of the proof of the concepts, or let's say, providing the expertise was for the police of the Czech Republic, which was very well received by the president of the police, and they were very happy to work with us. And we are also the part of the e-infrastructure in the Czech Republic, which give us even more advantage to be connected to high-speed internet and having the access to the grid computers, which are mainly for the academia, but our stakeholders are from the academia as well, not only from the industry. And of course, through the IT for Innovations and through the JU, we could facilitate the access for our stakeholders to the computing resources, mainly through the national calls when it comes to the Czech academia, but also for the JU calls when it comes our collaboration with the stakeholders from abroad or with the stakeholders from the companies. And there was one slight change between the EuroCC 1 and EuroCC 2. We changed our name from the NCC Czech Republic to NCC Czechia to be shorter and more concise. And we also launched the new portal, which is much clearer and basically gives our stakeholders the better access, mainly to our success stories and best practice guide and all the informations they need to get. So basically, our new portal was launched, and you can find all our success stories, not only the current from the EuroCC 2, but also the previous ones from the EuroCC 1 at our webpage. And we use those success stories to convince the newcomers that we have the experience in the sector area. So the more success stories, the more stakeholders we could attract, because before you prove them that you have experience, they don't want to talk to you, especially the companies. You know, they look at you, okay, so what you are going to tell me? And then when they see that on the other side is the expert who is talking their language, they will just basically start to share the information, and the trust is built. You know, this is not possible if you don't have an expert. If somebody who has no expertise in their specific domain will talk to them, they will shut down, and there won't be any collaboration and any trust at all. So what is our approach to collaborate with the industry? For many years we had a rather passive approach. We did the dissemination, we have all the information, all the success stories on the web, but we didn't chase the companies and tell them, okay, we are here, what are your needs, and basically please consider working with us. Thanks to EuroCC 1, we basically established the business development team, which is also in the close collaboration with the EDIH, which we are part of. And this business development team, we have one, let's call him a salesperson, who is basically actively identifying the companies. At the beginning of the EuroCC 1, we purchased the database of all the SMEs in the Czech Republic, which is quite comprehensive database, and this person has the access to all the SMEs in the Czech Republic, and he can go through this database and search through the sector, etc., etc. And basically, we changed that approach, and it starts paying because we have more interactions with the industry. I will comment this number in the right corner just in a minute. So basically, our approach is that the companies and EDICs are in the contact with our experts and our business development team. If the contact comes from the business development person, it goes to our experts, because this guy is not. He can't be an expert in every field. So basically, if it's something about numerical modeling and simulation, CFD, it comes to me, and I will sit with the company and we will discuss. We will listen, we will ask questions, and then we will see how to proceed. When it's AI, it's my colleague. When it's visualization, it's another colleague, etc., etc. So, and I also think this approach is the right one. We have to listen what the company wants, what are their needs. We have to ask the questions, and then we can proceed. So, and after the discussions, we will decide. Okay, this is the good approach would be to do the proof of the concept or expertise under the NCC. No, this one cannot fit in the NCC. This is the production run, so let's try EDIH. Okay, it's the EDIH. No, this is a project which requires longer collaboration. Okay, let's go for the national funds or go for the European funds. No, this is for the contractual research. And even if we go through the NCC and we do the proof of the concept or the consultancy, we have those steps in mind. So we're thinking, okay, we will start here as a simple proof of the concept as an NCC, and then we will try to push it further for the EDIs or for the other collaborations like a contracted research. So in this year, our colleague contacted 83 SMEs, many large companies, etc., etc. The interactions are not actually the projects by the new definition we have. These are the actual proof of the concepts. NDA was signed, the work has been done, many of them were finished, and success stories will be published. If I have to list here all the interactions we have, so basically we sit with the company, we said, okay, this is not NCC, this is EDIH, it will be 4 times or 5 times higher. So this one is only how many success stories we will have, and it's almost 10 here. So first example is collaboration with the NCC Slovakia. There is a SME who is trying to develop a new system for the clean energy storage. Is basically based on storing the electric energy in the kinetic energy. And they have this idea that they will create this sphere which will rotate at the sea. And they have this idea in the mind, and they're thinking, okay, we would like to do it 100 meters, or maybe 200 meters, or 300 meters in diameter. And we said, okay, it will be very costly to build a prototype, even for the 10 meters. So let's do the numerical modeling and simulations, and we will estimate how this will behave and how it will scale. So we basically give them these results, and now they are building the first prototype, and they are doing the testing. The second example is providing the expertise in the GPU porting. There is a company, DCS, and this is the collaboration with the EuroCC Austria, who brought this collaboration to our NCC because they know that we have the expertise in this one. So basically our guys were looking into the code and said, company, okay, this is the bottleneck, so please look into this, and these are our recommendations, go and implement those changes. And they did it, and our guys look at the code again and say, okay, it helps, but please see this bottleneck and try to do something about this. And as you can see, the speed up 2.6 times, and memory drops by 55%, so which is not bad. AI, this is the company which has the office just across the road. We know them quite well, and this is the AI in quality control. So through the image recognition and image processing, we did the proof of the concept how these methods could be used for the quality control of their products, which is done manually right now, and this one is continuing as a contracted research right now. So that this is this linkage. Then we take it as a proof of the concept, show them how it could be done, prove them it's feasible to do this, and now we are continuing with the contracted research. Rendering in architecture. This one is taking HPC to the area where the nice things are done. So this is again the local company who is working in the architecture, and we've been showing them how our rendering as a service could benefit them to produce not only the still pictures but the movies, and if they wish, even the interactive VR. And AI fighting crime, this is the collaboration with the police of the Czech Republic. We provided our expertise in the access of the HPC. They had the internal expertise in the data processing, in the AI, but they didn't know how to run their software or their models on the HPC. So there we provided this expertise, and they were very happy, and basically they would like to continue with us. So we are looking for some ways how to collaborate, because collaboration with the public administration is the hardest one. If you catch somebody from this group of the stakeholders, they have always problem with the money. Who will pay for that? The companies, if they decide, they can go for their own pocket and pay you from their own money, but the public administration, there are no funds for such a project. So currently we are looking for some possible ways of the funding, how we can team up and continue the collaboration with the police of the Czech Republic. And that's all from my side, and I'm ready for the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tomáš. Do we have questions? Yes, we do.
In terms of people's ability to take up AI and have it demonstrated to them, how difficult do you think the next step is, beyond demonstrating that it can be made to work, to actually get them to adopt it properly and use it?
It really depends, because the AI is very broad. There is a as an anecdote I call it, look for the cats or look for the dogs in the pictures, but there are these physical informed neural networks which basically has the potential or vision to solve the Navier-Stokes equations. So the AI is so broad that basically it really depends. Some companies want trained AI models to implement in their product. Some companies doesn't care, but they would like to use the AI for the optimization of the product. You know, so there is it's really broad area of the AI. So it really depends. If the company would like to use the AI as their product and sell it, it's different. It must be a different approach than its company. Let's say there was the Ferrari mentioned. Okay, if the Ferrari wants to use the AI for the design optimization, you know, for the aerodynamic optimization, that's the totally different business model, totally different approach.
Do we have any further questions? Okay, I guess not at this moment. Thank you very much again, Tomasz. And I would like to invite our last speaker of this session, Benoît Dompierre, from the National Competence Center in Belgium.
So thank you for asking me to talk today. I will present you user stories about how HPC can help us in improving our health. It is not focused only on industry use case, it's one industry use case and 4 from academia, and you will see later why. So EuroCC Belgium, currently we have 5 partners, so 3 Flemish university, 1 university in Wallonia, and 1 research center in numerical simulation, but we represent all together all the tier 1 and tier 2 public operator for Belgium, so all the university and then the research center. In a nutshell, our mindset is EuroCC Belgium is really a focal point between the needs from the users and the skills and services from the provider. We try to make a match skills and needs all together inside the EuroCC Belgium, and then we generate services, obviously, but we try to get new skills from this to eventually emerge new needs, and clearly we want to generate success stories. And we use these success stories to increase awareness. So we publish it on our website, we publish it on social media, but we face a difficulty with some industry stakeholders, such as hubs or even companies, because they want to know what HPC can help, how HPC can help them in their specific field, in their specific sector, and they need examples for this. So we developed in Belgium a one-site template to really get all the core information in one slide to help them to understand how it can help. And we were in touch with Castel to develop this, because we wanted not only to be useful for Belgium, but for all the NCC. So all the NCC will contribute to this, and all NCC can use this. So here is one example, so with the company Puxano. So Puxano is a biotech company offering structure-based protein research services to other companies, so pharma and biotech. They contacted us because they used a platform, but internally, and they wanted to make it usable for external users. So clearly, the first obstacle was the HPC resources, because they wanted more, but also they wanted to help to develop this, so experts to develop this. So the Flemish Supercomputing Center, the VSC, put them in contact with the Data Science Institute from University of Hasselt, and they helped them first to develop the database, the structure, to improve it, but also to develop a web-based service platform. And so thanks to this, we are able to propose this as a new service, and we are really happy of that. The second use case here is from academia, but also on protein. So here is a protein research to help research against cancer. And in this case, so it's a protein which is not in one configuration, so it can move, and depending on the time, the configuration is different. So you cannot only make crystallographic observation, because the crystallographic observation is at one time, and you need molecular dynamics simulation. And to do so, the researcher asked help from the Walloon Supercomputing Center to get resources, because there was a lot of computation to do, but she asked also for expertise on how to use a supercomputer. So thanks to this, and thanks to the help of the Walloon University, she was able to perform her simulation. The time of computation decreased from year to weeks only, so it was really interesting, and we hope it will help the research against cancer. The third story is also about health, obviously, and here it's about micro-simulation of the lifetime for non-communicable diseases, such as obesity, diabetes, for example. And it is really important to make micro-simulation. This means simulation at the scale of the person. So each person has its own trajectory, its own choice, its own risk. But we need to model this at the scale of a country. So Belgium is not a big country, but we talk about 10 million of people, including newborns and children and adults. And so clearly, the larger the population is, the larger the resources are required. So again, thanks to HPC, we are able to modelize this with accuracy at the scale of a country, and this helps to develop new opportunities in health politics in Belgium, for example, but we can apply to other countries. The next case is about brain simulation. So when you perform an electroencephalography, you put a lot of electrodes, so up to 250 electrodes, and you try to accurate the signal in the brain. It's just electromagnetic fields, but there is a lot of variability, and you need to perform a lot of simulation to get the best information you can have. And clearly here, again, the researcher wanted to make as much as simulation as possible in a shorter time, so HPC was really required. So again, the time was decreased from years of simulation to weeks, and there are some new benefits. So first, thanks to the quantity of simulation performed, it is possible to develop a simplified model, so to be faster for the future, but also to make the reverse simulation, so not only to measure what happens in the brain, but also to solicitate the brain with a transcranial direct current stimulation. And the last story here is about improving the chocolate with supercomputing. So it can be funny, but clearly in the process, there is a fermentation process to make chocolate. And if you want to know this well, it is just because if you don't succeed in this process, you can have repercussion about, okay, you can lose the product, but there is also an economic impact on the producer, because the farmer don't want to lose his production. So there is studies about the enzyme which help the fermentation, and you have to analyze the DNA sequence of this enzyme to better understand how it works. So years ago, the DNA sequence techniques were quite simple and generate not too much data, but now you have a lot of data for each analysis, and so it's a big amount of data, but also the database are bigger and bigger. So weeks ago, at the early stage of this research, the research team was able to do it in a tier 3 supercomputer, which was quite simple, but they had to go to tier 2 and now to tier 1 just because of the amount of data. And clearly, for this step, they asked us help, obviously for the infrastructure, but also because they had to go to improve their workflow and to go in a HPC mindset, which was not their mindset. So they are really happy of the contribution of the expert teams in Belgium, and now it will help them in their research. So as a conclusion, so supercomputing is clearly a key player to improve our health. HPC helps us to think big and open new opportunities. And this is why I put industry and academic examples, because I think industry and academic needs are quite similar. We need to form more, so higher number of computation, large data set, large database, more accuracy, so more physics, more statistics, more, and shorter restitution time. But also the need for expertise to help them. So learn how to use a supercomputer. This is quite basic, but there is a lot of people needing this help. They need also to switch to a supercomputing mindset, I would say. They need to improve their workflow, because what works on classical computing can be not enough on supercomputing. And also sometimes have a fresh look at what you do is useful. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions.
So welcome back, everyone. We are going to start with our last session, which is, as you can guess, a panel discussion. This is why we already have all of our speakers here on stage. And I would like to introduce, first of all, our panel chair, Bastian Koller from the HLRS, and our three panelists, Bojana Malisic from the University of Donja Gorica, NCC Montenegro, and we have Feyza Eriol from TÜBİTAK from the NCC Turkey, and we have Alberto Gomez from the Barcelona Supercomputing Center representing the NCC Spain. Welcome.
Thank you, Natalie. So this morning we started a bit, let's say, with looking at success stories. We started now, let's say, I gave you the nice, obviously perfect presentation on EuroCC and highlighted there that we are user-driven. You have seen, let's say, some examples of users using the bits and stuff. And so we said, okay, why not closing today with a panel really from the contact of an HPC user, how the users, let's say, or what kind of users we have, how they mature during the time, and let's say, and how we deal with the users. So user-centricism means we have to know what users we have, and we will simply start with, I will ask the panelists simply to give a short statement, or let's say some information as a starting point of what are your users, how mature are they? Obviously, you all love your users, so tell us a bit about your user base that you have.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. So my name is Bojana Malisic, as you can see, and I'm from the NCC Montenegro, University of Donja Gorica. And I must mention that it's great honor to be here, and thank you to our hosts. Regarding NCC Montenegro, we have some activities that include, we have this panel is user journey. So our journey, how to contact with the user base. So it means that we have from education to experience, to educate them. So we have the wide user from the academia, the student professors, also the researchers, diversify the user base, and also the SMEs and industry. All activities are related to the trainings, to creating the promotion of the HPC, HPDA, and AI in them, the disciplines and courses. And also, I must mention that when we start from initial phase during the EuroCC 1, we start from the zero. And now we have the 4 success stories when it comes to the SMEs. So it was very challenging, but also it is now also, but we love our users, as you mentioned. And I must to say that we have learned some lessons during the first phase, and now we're challenging in currently. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Feyza. I am working at TÜBİTAK since 2007, and I started from the system administration of HPC systems, and now I am working on EuroCC project coordination in TÜBİTAK. Also, we are managing our national infrastructure, Truba, and so I'm used to contact with users too much until now. I will say that we have more than 5,000 registered users in our national infrastructure, and 80% of them is from academia, and 10% of them is from industry, and 10% of them is from public agency. We are at the beginning of the EuroCC project. In the first phase, we conducted a landscape survey because our team was very experienced in that area. And while we are taking their competencies, also we collected from them their requirements. So we directly contacted to SMEs because academia is also working with HPC systems, and there are also no HPC systems, but in the SMEs it is different. They used to use in-house systems because of the license problems, because of the data security, and the other reasons. But they don't, also it is easy to use a cloud platform for their processes. There also uses cloud platforms. So we made one-to-one meetings with SMEs, and we spent dedicated times for the SMEs, and then now I think at the end of the 3 years, we become a very good position while we are contacting with SMEs. I will say that. And now we are working with SMEs too, we are working with academia and all over the public organizations.
Hello, my name is Alberto Gomez from Barcelona Supercomputing Center, also coordinating the NCC Spain and the Spanish Supercomputing Network. So as my colleagues, we need to differentiate between academic users and industry users, because in the case of Spain, the difference between those two is huge. So we didn't start from zero before starting EuroCC. We must confess that we already had a very developed infrastructure for academic users. We've been developing that since 2007, and then we have around 1,000 users per year in our competitive calls. So what we needed to do on that area is to maintain what we were doing and maybe add some more services like artificial intelligence, because we were focusing on HPC at the beginning. When it comes to industrial users, let's say that the lack of knowledge in HPC is a very common factor. So we also do the one-to-one meetings, but what we normally encounter is that they don't know what HPC really is. They may have heard the terms of artificial intelligence and big data, but when supercomputing comes into the scene, they run or they get a little bit scared. So what we have developed during this first phase, I don't know if we can say first phase, but with EuroCC 1 and EuroCC 2 is an introductory course for SMEs, which has been very fruitful, and also a testbed call for them to run like small projects and scalability tests and so on. So, yeah.
So, bring it back. So if I think let's say there's a common understanding that industrial users are special. Let's say it that way, positive special. But let's say if you say you have this introductory course, for instance, for the SMEs, how do you make them aware of this course? So is it like that, let's say they come to you and say, do you have an introductory course for SMEs, or how do you, let's say, get in touch with them, or how do you see, let's say, what's the way they come to you?
Yeah, I don't know if you were talking to me, but okay.
You all will get enough questions.
Grab the mic. So in an ideal situation, the SMEs would come to us in very large numbers, but then that's not usually the case, and I'm sure that my colleagues in the rest of OMCCs can agree. So we have to be more aggressive in that sense. We started in NCC Spain with a survey, but we weren't really successful. We didn't have as many answers. So what we are doing is we are in every event that we can think of, and then we also organize our info days for them to know about the project, also to promote especially this introductory course. So during the first phase, we had like a tailored course. We did some models with one specific company, but then in this second phase, we had one very successful session with several companies, I think around 17 to 20 attendees. So we really see that change, that evolution, and then, yeah, let's keep working on that. But we have to go for them, for sure.
As far as I said, we have made a landscape survey. We are lucky because our mother institute is one of the biggest funding agency in Turkey who funds both academia and industry. So we got more than 600 responses for our landscape survey, and more than 300 was from SMEs. So we have a huge list. We have evaluated all of the list, and we parted the SMEs. This is digital ready, this is HPC ready, this is also a HPC user, and we contact each other one-to-one, and we encourage them to use our HPC resources, especially for AI and HPDA. We worked and prepared documentation how to import their cloud-based platform applications processes to an HPC system. How can they use containers in these HPC systems? In that part, we used our national infrastructures, and also we make information days, and we tell them in detail the EuroHPC GEO access calls, and we encourage them to apply that resources if they need more resource than the given seed resources. So now I think we have many applies in EuroHPC GEO calls, so they are aware how to access these both EuroHPC and national HPC resources.
So I already mentioned that Montenegro was in initial phase, and so the most inquiries when we have from the user was trainings, the workshops that we invite the companies. But firstly, as Alberto said, we organize the info days for the companies, just to share among what is the HPC, how we can promote them, what are the benefits for the SMEs and also from the academia and the public administration sector in Montenegro. So firstly, in initial phase, we organize the info days and invite the companies, some of the SMEs in Montenegro who want to see and to better be viewed and informed about this issue. But also our some pathway how to contact and how to be in contact with the user is to firstly to raise awareness about the HPC plus technologies to the companies, to the SMEs. So that means workshops, the training. So what we can what we can do, what we can present to them. Also how to drive the HPC plus technology demand. So that means that we target the SMEs and the big industry in Montenegro, and we have some like the funnel approach to the business association. What is to target the company and to have one-to-one meetings, what are the needs, and to just to see the maturity level of the SMEs, what are the potential, how they want to, what are the needs, and how they can use this technology. And maybe the third phase was to build and to drive innovation. So that means that building use case in the ecosystem on the national level.
So building this use case, or let's say, somehow, obviously you do the information days, everything, but you have to show them something there. So do you base on experiences so that you take, let's say, it's like, we do this today, tomorrow, success stories, yes, it is very helpful. And ideally, it's not only, let's say, the ones that you have yourself, but you could also, let's say, take up some of the other success stories, etc. Do you see a benefit now, let's say, really having, let's say, more sets also available, especially if you don't have, let's say, the big history in working with them for decades?
Yes, I mentioned in the first question that regarding the Montenegro, yes, from 0 to the 4 success stories, and not only the success stories, but also the more SMEs that want to be involved and to be informed in our what we are doing and what is the HPC we can present to them. For example, I think the success story can be the generating waves for the SMEs, especially when they see what the other SMEs was doing or was done in the previous years. For example, they want how they create solution. So they want all of us, I think, have the barriers and the problems, and that is the how to make solution for those problems. So like the previously, I work in the National Relations Office, so my students want to go to exchange everything when they hear about the experience of the other students. So those are things the same when you see and hear about the experience from the previous SMEs, especially if we have the same industry and the same field of the interests, so you can move up with that. So especially in Montenegro, we are the small country, but we have the SMEs who are very interested and have the potential to see and to be in the like the target group to make these things.
But I think you wanted to say something directly, because I see we changed the orders now. This is okay. We now enter the phase of anarchy, so it's fine.
It's on? Yeah, it's okay. No, I was just agreeing with Bojana, is that exemplification of HPC application is very important for the SMEs to really see what HPC can do for them. And also we can benefit from the success stories that we have from this project, but also from previous success stories, because, you know, HPC have many applications in diverse areas. So the closest the success story gets to the business that the SME is doing at that moment, the better. And also, yeah, that's it, really.
I think in the second phase of the project, we are now mostly faced with the AI and HPDA applications, which will run on the HPC resources, and it is, I think, playing a critical role in our success, will be a critical role in our success stories. In that phase, we have most POC studies in the first phase of the project, as Dan presented today, but now we have only 4 POC study in this year. This is because we want that embracing the parallel will be the huge name, but we will say that they need to use multi-node GPUs, multi-GPUs and multi-node GPUs in their AI or HPDA processes, and also we are looking for the scalability of the POC projects, so we can directly forward them to the EuroHPC resources.
Okay, now the panel is about the or did you want to answer?
Yes, if I can.
Yes, of course.
So I think this, I must mention that we need to know that we are on the platform to speak on the same language with the SMEs, with the industry, and also with the public administration. So we will have the ground and the platform, what we can supply, what is the demand. So I think that is very important to know, and to have the closest connection with the SMEs and the industry, what is the potential of all of this.
So the panel is about, let's say, contact. So we talked a bit about the contact, how do you make them aware, etc. And then let's say user journey. So this means users somehow are also evolving. Also the industrial users or SME users are evolving. This means potentially some training. Now you said you have this small, let's say, introductory course, which will surely not run over 6 weeks, and they have to be daily there. So do you see, I think we have quite different, let's say, requirements towards training than we have probably for the academic users in there. So do you have an experience in the demand, what, let's say, for instance, SMEs, or let's say in the big industrial player need in terms of, let's say, additional training or, let's say, increase of competences in regard when they want to put themselves in-house? And how do you see this to be handled?
I think it depends on the lack of personnel, experienced personnel in SMEs. an SME needs to believe that the HPC is HPC gives many benefits to this HPC, in also both for its expenses, and needs to hire an experienced personnel how to use these HPC resources or how to benefit from these resources. I think the main thing is personnel.
I would like to recall what was said in the previous session, is that the HPC is important, but the people skills are even more important. You can have a prior contact with the SME to explain what HPC can do for them, but then you need to accompany them on the journey, especially if you don't have any previous knowledge on the topic. So the support team is a key factor in order to have a successful collaboration.
I agree with both of them. The human resources, the people are very important, but also I think the creativity and the willingness of the SMEs and also the academia who want to join and also to be trained and to be educated in this training are very important. Also, we have the trainings, different phase of the trainings at our university, at our NCC that we can have. For example, we have trainings separately and diversify. We have created development of the disciplines and courses for the bachelor, for the PhD, and also the master level of the students. But also we have the professional trainings for the SMEs, especially when we see their needs and what they want to be trained in which fields. For example, in financial, in agriculture, what are the skills that they needed in their field of the business process, and etc. So that is like what are we promoted within the trainings.
Let me just look at the audience for now to give them a chance also to ask you questions where you might not agree. Where are the brave people? If not, I will continue, but then you should not say you were, let's say, bored because I asked strange questions. Okay, you have to live with me. You want?
And that is, so I understand there is a broad agreement that approaching SMEs requires a proactive approach. And I also understand that the communities that you have to address in your constituency has potentially very different requirements. So now my question is, have you identified any common elements across the different countries that work for SMEs or for this process, independent whether this is in Montenegro, in Turkey, or in Spain, for example?
Maybe. During the EuroCC project, in the first phase of the EuroCC project, as far as I know, maybe Bastian will correct me, there are two maturity models which will be applied to the all NCCs, which are making POC studies with these SMEs. There will be there's a need to be standards. So, for example, we wrote a white paper, and it depends on some management tools and the needs. So, an SME you contact or you making a POC, you will evaluate it from its maturity model and maturity level in the HPC field. I think it is one of the methods to use with everyone.
When you started your question, I was really sure that you were going to talk about challenges, and I was ready to jump on the questions because I have a lot to say about that. But about things that work, I mean, the problems are similar in one country to another. Is that the companies don't have the time, don't have the patience, or don't have the skill. So things that work, I don't want to repeat myself, but the support team is really important. Now, you need to first give them like a basic training on what HPC is, and then you have to have someone with them at least from the very beginning. Yeah, I think that's something that we can also retake from your white paper. Yeah, mainly that.
The white paper also gives some advices for the SMEs, for their, also it measures the maturity level and also gives some advices about how to upgrade these levels. But it is an offline method, not online, but as far as I know, Slovakia or Slovakia has a maturity method, and it's translated into, I think, 8 languages, and it automatically produces a result what the level of the maturity of the SME and what we needs to upgrade it.
Can I add just one thing that Alberto on the beginning said, that we need to be aggressive when we need to attract the SMEs and to be like with the willingness. So I totally agree with that. So we need to be proactive in this field to attract, I think, the all NCC, not only the Montenegro or maybe the Turkey, Barcelona or the Spain, but all of us need to be proactive and also to have intensive communication with the user and how to continue with this issue.
Also, one very important thing, I think, is we need to simplify our message. Because when you are dealing with experts, HPC researchers, if you know about the topic, you enjoy the difficult talks, but normally people from the SME are much more practical. So we really need to simplify what we want to do, maybe have like a couple of bullet points of this is what we can do, and then when we want to discuss further, like add more details, but simplification is also a key factor.
Okay. Other questions from you? Yeah. Okay, no.
I just want to add something. I'm Karim Azam from the French NCC. You know, when you need to support SMEs, our first challenge is not to contact SMEs, because it's really easy to contact SMEs and to support them. The best challenge we have is to have some funding to make something with them. Because in EuroCC, we can support them at the beginning to understand the need, to give them some training, etc. But for the SMEs, the goal is to do something, to develop something. And to develop something, you know, in EuroCC 2, it's the limit of EuroCC 2, and to go after that, to help them to improve their software, to use for example, the HPC resources, and to develop something. This way is a little complicated because they don't have funding, and the small, I'm talking just about the small companies, and because they don't have funding, sometimes it's really complex to give them all the things. So they understand the first thing, and they are happy to be part of the EuroCC project, to have some input about what HPC can do for them, to have some training, to make some proof of concept. But after, they don't have some funding for them. And sometimes it's, from my point of view, I'm talking about my country because we have different culture and different needs of SMEs, but for my country, this part is really complex for the SMEs.
So Alberto asked for challenges. Huh? Sorry, you wanted to jump on that one, so I got a question. Basically, how about intellectual property being an issue for SMEs to jump on HPC? Because on the one side, we got the SMEs, and we know that the know-how is not there, so that's in largely in the research organizations, and you have also most of the facilities in the research organizations. What about companies saying, well, yes, but then I'm giving my problem and my interesting topic partially to an organization that is that needs to do dissemination and to publish things. I don't want that. And the second thing is, it's going to run in the basement of a university where basically everybody with a USB stick can go in. Well, we know that's not the case, but I have concerns about intellectual property. I don't know, is there anything that you have experienced in that direction with SMEs?
Yes, we have experienced this. For example, some SMEs didn't want to share any data or anything about themselves, and this is one problem. And they don't want to share data, share their research data or any data about their work or their processes. So they always ask that how can an HPC system can prevent our data? So what will we do? We have mostly in finance sector, we signed 2 NDAs for our use cases, both for HPC part, HPC side, academic expert, and the company. I think we faced with these 2 challenges.
We also do not have the
You don't have to. No.
It's okay. I mean, I think it's the common path, you know, to sign an NDA. But even then, when they hear that we only do like research and development, we don't do any commercial projects with them. So when they hear that the things that we do have to be open at some point, they sometimes go as well. So yeah, NDA would be the case.
Yes, NDA is the first, solves the data security, but when the company didn't want to share anything in the EuroCC project, we then said that this is an open, you need to open your data or you need to open your studies. So we stopped the POC study.
So do you want to answer? Okay. Again, not all of you have to answer everything. It's fine. just feel free to say I reject any. Good. So now we have the newbie user. They want to do some testing. We discussed about this. Let's say they have to publish probably things afterwards when they use the system. Do you have also, let's say, users which, let's say, are more mature and used for production? So in terms of that, you would go then into some commercial action. So did you think about offering this? Do you offer this already? And if yes, do you have a feeling for the implication this might have on your, let's say, operation of the not only the NCC but also, let's say, of then access to systems and everything around that?
In our cases, we are offering seed resources for SMEs. After the POC study is over, we are, I think, more than 15 years, we have a method pay-per-use method for commercial use of our national infrastructure. And I think it is also compatible with the EC unit cost method. We are giving services for the SMEs by pay-per-use method. So, yeah.
Do you operate this then differently, or would it, let's say, because often we have, let's say, academic access, which is, let's say, the academic users are quite, sometimes don't care about, let's say, things happening?
In SMEs, yes, we are giving a pay-per-use method for the SMEs. Also, we are giving services for academia, which is a dedicated project, and a deadline is given in that project. We can also give a pay-per-use method service for academia too, since 2008, I think.
Good. Audience.
Another question.
A short question from my side, Gebetmes Erbers. When I listen to you, you always talk about that you have to go in touch with the SMEs to educate them, provide some trainings to them globally. And this is independent where it takes place in Europe. And I agree this also from my point of view, doing this in large companies. It's not only linked to SMEs. But the question for me is, if we have to do this first, there is something wrong in the ecosystem. And the question for you is, do you have any recommendation to make HPC like a standard product, like using a smartphone or something like using in whatever kind of office to write a report, using HPC for simulations more on a global earlier stage to avoid this painful and long-lasting step?
It's very difficult to change a whole ecosystem with one project. I don't know, what we also really need to take into account is that HPC is not for every business process there is. You need like a substantial amount of data and a substantial problem for HPC to be efficient. So we don't really want to intervene in any problem that can be used from cloud services or something like that. So I don't know, is that we are trying to our best to try to change that, and we are since the lack of knowledge by the Spanish companies is there, we are just starting from the beginning. There are bachelors and there are masters on HPC computing, but to tackle the people who work in a company, we need to have a different approach, and this is the one that we selected for now.
Can I add? Yes. For example, in Montenegro, what are the trainings that we maybe tackled and target is how to application, for example, from success story, how to get to them applications, the HPC, HPDA, AA, in their field. For example, in agriculture, we have the success story in the poultry agricultural farm, so we give the training in this, how to apply this technologies in this field.
Maybe to add on the question I raised, I would find everything what we are doing there, but we may have to start at something what I thought about, to start earlier in the education path, to make the people aware, because this for me is the only point. That not mean that everyone become a specialist on HPC, but have the awareness that there is a technology outside there which can help you. Because a lot of time, what I discovered, people don't know about HPC, so you have to run all these exercises, what we do everywhere in Europe. That's not something what I see wrong on this side, but the problem for me is more how to make colleagues at university level or in early education state aware on this kind of capabilities, especially in the engineering area, not in the informatic area, because the engineering typically are the colleagues with the problems.
So let me put a question on top of this. Should we go to schools?
That was my question, is how early do you want to start? Okay, what I can say from our experience, what we are doing on that topic, we have like 2 programs running now in Barcelona. They started in Barcelona and now they are going everywhere in Spain. So we have one which is called Bollos per la Supercomputación, which translate to HPC, crazy about HPC, something like that. And then we have students from high schools that would visit the Barcelona Supercomputing Center on the weekends and know something that very specific, but like basic knowledge of what HPC is and it can do. And then the other program is called, how was it? Yeah, we are researchers, we are female researchers, and we are starting with students as early as 8-year-olds, but for them to have interest not in HPC, but in STEM careers, because we want to promote the STEM careers, especially in young women. since they don't have as many reference.
When you talk about the school and preschool, I was to mention that we at NCC Montenegro and also the University of Banja Gorica, we organize its course and summer school for the high school student and also the students. It's called Open Mind Academy. So like the open, and we give the online, its duration is the like 3 weeks. So we have the first part, like the online and theoretical part about the introduction, and then we have the exercise, so the practical thing for the students. So maybe this is one great case for the all NCC.
Okay, now we talk about HPC. Now let me be a bit challenging again. Shall we talk about HPC, or shall we talk about solutions, or shall we talk about simulation, or whatever, when we talk to the industrial end users? Because the one thing is a technology, the other thing is might have an implicit, let's say, added benefit there. So how do you structure your messages there? Is it really saying, look, with 1,000 cores you could do this, and you could use Fortran for that? Even though people would bash me now, having mentioned Fortran. Or is it rather than that also the message has to be on a certain level where it's rather, let's say, really showing them, okay, this is rather a solution, or let's say a support service for you, not really the technical details. Because the question is, we had yesterday a nice, let me just quickly say this, a discussion, do we really need in each SME an expert? Or is it sufficient if they understand the potential of this and can, let's say, do this, for instance, then in the interaction with the NCCs?
Most of the, in our POC studies, some SMEs have knowledge about how to use and how, which program is proper for them for their solutions. For example, in CFT part, most of them is using OpenFOAM because of its open source. But in some cases, if the SME is HPC ready or an HPC user, there are no problems. But it is only digital ready or didn't know anything about how to simulate it and how to take benefit from HPC resources, you need an academic expert and they need to study together. For example, in one of our POCs, our academic expert and HPC infrastructure expert is work together, and after that, for example, they got funded from FF4 EuroHPC. It is, I think, a success story for them because they are not know anything about simulations or other things. They only making experiments about the manufacturing part.
Just surprisingly, you mentioned FF4 EuroHPC now, which is also the logo which we have here. So would you say this was, let's say, a proper way of support? Let's say at least, let's say there were in total 42 experiments supported, which sounds not so much, but it was a potential, let's say, to use it to make at least a step forward and do that. Do you think this program went well, or do you have something they said, okay, would have been better if? Yes, they got lots of benefits from this experiment. And when I read their end report, I saw that they got many improvements about their business part. So I think it is a very useful call for SMEs to get funds, because they can take some funds, seed resources or some resources from HPC, but they couldn't find any resource for PMs, so they need to get funded. There are two questions. I think Andreas was first, and then we go over here.
To slightly come back to, well, you asked for solution or HPC oriented. It's clear SMEs just care about the solution. They don't care about HPC. This morning we had the wish round. It was towards the project, but I would open this. I would like to see the ChatGPT moment for HPC. ChatGPT, just like that, made AI available to everyone. And I'm afraid this will not be a fulfillable wish because what's below and what's in HPC is much more complicated than a ChatGPT thing. But I think we have to work much more on the ease of use side, because as long as you need experts to do an HPC computation, we are limited in a way. I don't know, do you share this view? That's actually the question.
Good, I'm just a moderator. So, who wants to take up on this?
I really don't know how we can do that, to be honest. Yeah, you're talking about generative HPC. I don't know if that's really a concept that is out there, but so it would be, I think it would be ideal to have SMEs with a basic knowledge of HPC and then very usable HPC, as you say, like chat HPC, so they can meet on the way and then they don't need us anymore, I guess.
I will add just that I think we run a marathon with this, so we need to be step by step with this. Maybe not only the solution, like to trying, but also to understand and to, we need to build a team. I think the team building, it's not to learn just SME, but to learn ourselves for this.
Maybe a task force for this.
Happy with the answer? Honestly, I think if they would know it, they would sell it very expensively soon and not tell you. Okay, another question.
Okay, my question is also on the same line. Regarding we are talking about the training to make aware, but also from the HPC side and from the providers particular, to have the easy of use. And I think that this is also an ongoing movement I think in all European centers, with the convergence of HPC and cloud, and particularly for the industry, most of the users are already used to cloud Kubernetes applications, and most centers are making an effort to ease the DevOps from cloud to be able to run in HPC. But as Alberto was saying, HPC is a particular target and only makes sense for some workloads, and is difficult to have this. But also, and later with the ChatGPT, I think this, from years, the access was only through a line command, and this is also evolving, particularly for our high-performance data analytics, and with Jupyter notebooks, almost all centers are giving a web interface that is the ease of users. I don't know if you have some comments on these lines.
Maybe we will say that an HPC system will be ready for general purpose applications who needs scalability and other things. But the truth is AI and HPDA processes are needs to run with GPUs, and all over now we will say that every HPC site has a GPUs. And these GPUs will be used by the AI or HPDA projects by porting their cloud-based applications. For example, you will import you will download your application from Google Colab and import easily by Jupyter Notebook to your HPC center. I think there is a need to be aware of that part, and there is a need to run these applications in HPC systems too, with especially GPU-based systems.
Hello, Bastian from Altea. So from the perspective of a software vendor from, let's say, both HPC and simulation, yeah, it sounds like we have to do more about the ease of use also on our side. So the question would be, are there any software vendors in this consortium already Not sure. And if not, why not?
I can answer.
Should we be?
I can answer that. So in the NCCs, theoretically, let's say all the competence owners in the country can let's say, in a nation can participate there. So there is a potential to onboard ISVs, or let's say whoever, let's say, is interested in this. Obviously, there's no funding for them, so they do this in goodwill. But this is something which, let's say, is on plan for this maturity, or let's say path that they have, that they also take them, let's say, into account in how far then they get together. Again, from my viewpoint, you have, let's say, a variety of different classifications of participants. You will have, let's say, competence owners which, let's say, own a service based on that. You will have some of them which have the really in-depth technical knowledge on the bits, on optimization, on whatever there. You will have the people having the software, let's say, commercial software, open source software, things, and those people can come together then. And when the users have a certain request and a certain problem, then you ideally you have this competence pool to bring them together. Not all the ideally you would have, let's say, some 100 competence owners. If you have then one SME asking for help and 200 people coming there, would be too much. But if you identify those people which can work together on a solution for this SME, which probably would not be able, let's say, to be solved by one of them alone.
Yeah, because it sounds like one of the first obstacles is to get involved with the application itself before you even get to use an HPC to solve these problems, right? And I think we are probably still part of the problem, but could be part of the solution. So, yeah.
The point.
In some cases, academic experts are directed the SMEs to use how to use their programs, or how can they use the program and something like that, because it is a consultancy part. And we make, especially every NCC will giving this consultancy to the SMEs too.
Yeah, we learned a lot about how much resources you have to put in to get SMEs on these systems. So I'd like to get a grip on the scale of the problem. So how many companies can you support at any given time with your NCC? How many people are working in this in your NCC, and how many companies you can support with that?
I can give you one specific example from EuroCC. One is that we have the space to give access to 20 companies in our testbed call, and then we got 9 requests and we fulfilled them all. But it took us so much effort to try and sell, not really sell because we were doing it for free, to promote our testbed call to companies and to get them on board, even if there was not much time, it was not time consuming, and there was no money involved. So the resources are there. We are just failing in a way on how to promote them. But I think we can cover more than we were doing, but the problem lies on how to get the message across.
In our cases, we have supported, I think, 19 SMEs in the first phase of EuroCC project, and we give seed resources to, I think, 210,000 CPU cores for each up to. If they also use these resources, in one or two cases we upgraded their quotas, but this is only a seed resource. Then we have 2 national HPC centers in our NCC Turkey infrastructure, and we also share the SMEs between the 2 national infrastructure.
So in our case, we give them for the 4 companies in the first phase, and we are same as Alberto. We can even more to give the support to the SMEs.
Good. So I got a sign that we have to come to an end, which is you will be happy if I have no more last questions, but I still have a last question, obviously. So I usually like to play with people this wish list to Santa thing. So you have, let's say, challenges with your users, and you started now, let's say, after the first phase and now the first months of the second phase, you understand better, let's say, what their needs are. So what would you say, what for you, if you could wish, let's say that the fairy tale comes there and says, yes, I fulfill your one wish. What would be the next important step that you would say you have to take or to implement or to work out, let's say, to be able to make better support of your users as you can do this for now, because you have to set up these processes?
It's okay. Well, as someone in the audience mentioned, one of the problems that arise the most is financing. So we are aware that there are calls from the EuroHPC for SMEs, especially the one that is represented here. But maybe these projects only target SMEs that already have like a little bit of knowledge on HPC, and then we need to kind of target the others. Other thing is timing. Sometimes the collaboration doesn't go across because the SMEs just want something that they really need it in a short space of time, and we are not able to do that. And all the challenges are just to try to understand what they need, or try to explain to them why HPC is good for them or not, because sometimes it doesn't happen because they really don't need HPC.
I agree with Alberto. For example, yesterday, I think the industry champion of Castiel 2 project is send an email about the funds, new funds of the new funds for SMEs. I think the communication is the most important thing in that area. So when we communicate each other, both NCC, COEs, and SMEs, and together, we will coordinate the HPC activities, and we will improve one step forward, I think.
I will add that when we have the challenges, so that means that we are working, so we are moving. So that is a great, I think, things. And one that I will surely agree with both of them, but also I must mention that I think that the goal is to build the HPC user for tomorrow. So it's not only today we give the solution and we finish, but we need to build ourselves also for tomorrow things. And I think for as NCC Montenegro, I hope that we will share and also increase our national ecosystem when we talk about the innovation, HPC, and also this issue.
Okay, so to conclude this, what I heard from you, and now we can disagree, is that I think what was good is that you mentioned not only your NCC as a single standalone entity, but you see also, let's say, the value of, let's say, first of all, going beyond this NCC bubble. And also you mentioned the COEs, we can mention the digital innovation hubs, we can mention the Fortissimo-like actions, but I think this is a good sign that, let's say, the different actions are somehow starting to converge, or at least, let's say, start to utilize synergies, especially for the users, and I think this is important things to take home from here. So let me thank you to the panel. You did an excellent job. Also, thank you to the audience, because I was really happy that I saw some hands getting up to the air, so I didn't have to do everything on my own here. I had some more questions, and I'm happy that I didn't have to ask them. Natalie, you want to close the day?
Yeah, so I'm happy to close the day. Thank you very much for your participation in this first day of the conference, and we are meeting back tomorrow at 9 for our first session, and I hope to see all of you here today as well. Thank you very much.